According to a 2018 global study on occupational fraud and abuse by Association of Certified Fraud Examiners, occupational fraud is likely the largest and most prevalent threat. It is committed against the organization by its own officers, directors, or employees. The median duration for all of the fraud cases is 16 months, and the longer a fraud goes undetected, the larger the scheme will grow. Fraud can be especially devastating to small businesses. They lose almost twice as much per scheme to occupational fraud. Data monitoring, analysis, and surprise audits were correlated with the largest reductions in fraud loss and duration, yet only 37% of victim organizations implemented these controls. 85% of fraudsters displayed at least one behavioral red flag of fraud, such as financial difficulties, family problems, close association to vendor or customer, and others. Straydot analytics offer various fraud detection services. But first, please answer these questions. Do you have an office manager that runs payroll without supervision? Are you in control of the checks that are written? Are all the pay functions done by one person in your office? Do you open all the mail yourself? All sound too familiar? What we will need for fraud detection is: check runs data from the accounting system, as many months as possible, current vendor list with addresses, current payroll data directly from the payroll service. Other services include audit trial review of payroll activity, credit card statement review, and annual employee survey regarding knowledge of fraud. We run a series of automatic tests that check for any evidence of common issues that appear when there is evidence of fraudulent activity. Benford's law. Percentage of time digits 1 through 99 are expected to occur in the first two positions in a genuine data set of numbers. If an employee is committing fraud by producing fraudulent invoice, he or she has to create a fictitious amount. These amounts can become outliers in Benford's law. Z-score is a statistical measurement of a number in relationship to the mean of the group of numbers. It refers to points along the base of the standardized normal curve. The center point of the curve has a z-value of 0. The distance from the mean is measured by standard deviations. Our modified Z-score tool generates a report with a list of all vendors and highlights the outliers. Duplicate payments test. Employees with control over accounts payable and the checks can submit an invoice for payment twice. They can alter the actual check to reflect a different payee. The application search checks register for duplicate vendor names above a certain amount and payments for the same amount on the same day. Similar vendors test. Fictitious invoices from fictitious vendors will sometimes have similar names and address to actual or real vendors. The application searched the vendor list data and identified similar data points. The system allows you to adjust the similarity percentage. Once a list is generated, the user can add vendors to a shortlist to be added to the report generated by the application for further investigation. Fictitious vendors will sometimes have PO box addresses or contain certain words like consulting or marketing. A fraudster may even use the same address for various fictitious vendors. Using the vendor list, the application searches for a defined set of keywords. The user set the words or addresses prior to running the query. Once the vendors are identified using the keyword list, they can be added to the report via the shortlist function for further investigation. Employees that use fictitious invoices will sometimes use their own address. Employees may also alter a certain paycheck amount for only one pay period, then return their paycheck amount back to a normal amount. The system searches both the vendor list and employee list at the same time to find similarities. The user of the application can set the similarity percentage, then create a shortlist for further investigation. Employees with access to checks and can access the office on days the business is closed may commit the fraud while they have an opportunity to be alone. We load weekends and holidays into the application where we know the office was closed. The application compares check dates from the check register to those days. Some employees have a check signing authority below a certain level. They may abuse this authority knowing those amounts are not monitored. Application produces a list of checks under a predetermined amount for further investigation. QuickBooks Audit Trial. automatically reviews the audit trail generated by QuickBooks or other general ledger software for invoice or check deletions, altering amounts on invoices or checks, and other parameters. We will review credit card transactions for non-businesses. We will review audit trail in QuickBooks. This process helps detect when an employee is manipulating or hiding activity. We have a wide range of ways to pay that are based on the size of the company. Additional services pricing also depends on the size of your company. For more information, please visit Straydot.com.